As soon as you leave home, you start to find out about what your local government does. Footpaths, roads, libraries, swimming pools, community art projects, local land planning, Meals on Wheels, childcare, support for young people and rubbish and recycling collection are all part of what local council is responsible for. As women, we use and understand more of these services due to our caring roles, so why not have more of a say? In this film, we're going to look at how to get involved in local government. What about standing as a candidate and possibly getting elected as a councillor? You could make a difference to the community you live in. Even if you don't get elected, standing as a candidate gives some amazing leadership experience and a profile to the issues you care about. So why get involved in local government? There are 3 key messages about standing as a candidate. It's a great way to expand your influence for what you care about. You are the one in the best position to decide how you will judge your own success. You can climb the mountain step by step.
I wanted to run so that the council provided services that reflected the whole community.
Well, I wanted to make some changes, I guess, in local council, local government.
Every time I'd come back home, there were all these questions always asked, about Indigenous affairs and all that sort of stuff, and health and education and youth. So it wasn't unfamiliar territory for me to, be in front of a camera or be talking about issues that I still talk about here in the White House on the Hill.
In the levels of politics, which level really affects us as people, just general community people on the ground? And I have to say that it was local government.
It's that whole thing of local government's the sort of closest government to the people on the ground, and at the time I thought not a lot was happening with councils working with their local Aboriginal community, and so I saw that opportunity to try and bridge that gap and have more effective working relationships with communities and organisations.
In local government today, you've got the opportunity to have a good say for your family and your community and the people who come after.
It's really just catering for community needs, and that's what we're good at. That's in our culture, it's in our makeup as Aboriginal women, to cater for our family and community needs.
If Aboriginal women can actually get on council, they're showing to younger Aboriginal women that, hey, look what I've done. I could actually, get here. Having that support from the community is really important, and then younger Aboriginal women can actually achieve and aspire to do that too.
I'm really concerned about climate change and that impact it has on our people, especially on our health and wellbeing.
I just saw an inequality between the Indigenous, the community, where you lived as to whether you got a footpath.
Disability access, and because I've got a disability and I'm not going to get any better, but life needs to be made easier for people with disabilities.
If you're going to do something like that, you make a commitment, you have to honour it and be really, really true to yourself and to the people who you hope to vote for you.
Standing for election, supporting a candidate or becoming a councillor are all fantastic ways of making your voice heard and making a difference. Candidacy is a valuable leadership experience and a great way to get to know your local council and wider community. You gain confidence in many areas such as meeting the community, media, fundraising, setting up a campaign team, understanding how the election system works, dealing with dirty tricks.
To get yourself prepared, I think you need to get involved in local council activities, and this is about the wider community, not just being Aboriginal.
Lobby the wider community more so than the Aboriginal community, because that's where your votes are.
I had a lot to do with regards to convincing people that I was worthy of representing them, and to actually talk about issues beyond Indigenous issues.
I didn't need to know anything to be a councillor. You don't have to hold a position or anything, but I made sure that I read the minutes of the meetings, the agendas and what was being tabled, what permits were being handed out, etc. And that way you had a sort of an understanding of what was going on in the council when you went to the meetings and what was happening in the community?
Well, you've got to have a mentor or mentors, people that have been through the process themselves and know the ropes and all that sort of thing.
Being clear in what you're standing for is really, really important, and it must be relevant to the community and the council.
You have to give them that time. So I spent a lot of my time in the Hayward Baker shop. And people would come in, I'd just sit there and have cups of coffee. And they'd sit in there and they'd come in and sit down. Can I have a talk to you, Ken? Yes.
Every day I wake up not thinking negative, but it's being optimistic about, okay, what can I do to help others today?
Council still has that connection to the community because their people are part of the community that are on the council.
You are your own expert and you're in the best position to define your own success. You will already have many personal assets when you begin, such as knowing your local community and the mainstream community, balance and common sense, imagination, integrity, and a sense of humour. When you're in local government, there are pros and cons.
As an Aboriginal person, you might be really fluent or understand what the Aboriginal issues are in a local community, but you also have to be respectful and have an understanding of all other people who live in your community as well. You have to have an understanding about how the rubbish is being affected on public holidays. You have to understand about, the licensings of dogs. You have to worry about roads and budgets, and you have to also worry about the concerns of the local people because you are at the coalface where people have access to you.
When running for government is the people around you, some of them were genuinely supportive, but there were people who could sabotage your interest.
It is a big time commitment and you need to be settled within yourself.
People generally like to support people that have been in the role for many years as well, so changing that attitude is a bit difficult.
Selling yourself and saying how deadly you are is the hardest thing to do because that's usually what we get shot down for when we do that amongst our own mob. Oh no, she thinks she's too deadly for us or whatever.
Aboriginal women and men who have run campaigns of all kinds have some great advice. In your own communities and networks, you will find people who can be sources of wise advice and support, including in the mainstream community.
I don't believe that we've ceded our rights to this country, and we are First Nation people, so why not be seen?
There should be one Aboriginal that has a permanent seat on council, whether they're traditional owners or whether they're not. It's decisions about country and we should be included.
You've got to back yourself. And the thing is, there's nothing great in life comes easy. You've got to work hard.
Get out there and do it and prove to the rest of the community that Aboriginal people have got the right to be on council.
And if you get knocked back, so what? It's good to have a go because you go back again. And that's what all politicians do.
What I'd really like to see is more Aboriginal people actually standing for council, particularly Aboriginal women, because you can actually make better change at that leadership level.
You can do it. You live there, you know your mob, you can do it. Just run for council.
I think you have to smile a lot. I think that's the key. Don't have the grumpy face.
Be yourself. Don't try to fit into a mould.
I'd say follow your dream, because in every council there'll be something that will address your needs, and you'll find people who think the same way as you, as I did with the environmental groups.
It's an amazing thing to do, to be able to inspire and encourage people and, put them on that right path.
At your local council, contact one of the councillors to find out more about getting involved. Go to a few council meetings and check out your council's website. Talk to VLGA about what's involved and where you can get more information about how to become a candidate. Call them on 9349 7999 or visit www.vlga.org.au.